We often get agitated if someone attacks certain beliefs. Well, to be honest, they're not even ours in the first place. I feel it's your ego that gets offended. We sometimes attack that thing which is helping us to, let's say, live a different life and maybe a more joyful one, because we have accepted that identity, that thought that we accepted as an impressionable kid, and when we want to kind of defend it at all costs. Yo guys, namaskaram. So today I wanted to talk about the power of truth. Well, let's say maybe speaking your own truth. The more rooted you are in your truth, the more opportunities life opens up for you. Our only problem is that we swap speaking or basing ourselves on our truth because of some short-term gains. It hurts you in the long term, but well, who cares about the long term? The problem is we are not able to see the results of it. It might come back and haunt us in our conscience, let's say 10, 15 years down the line, because we cannot lie to ourselves. One day or another, we would wake up, if I have to use that analogy, or let's say become more mature in life, or maybe life would make ourselves mature in one way or another. So you might have seen that in cultures of companies where speaking the truth is punished and people are highly insecure, particularly the management, these companies never do well in the long term. Hardly very few of them are existing right now because they have, well, not earned the credibility and trust of their employees as well as their customers, because how a customer gets treated is how you treat the employees, because then the employees engage with the customers and then they feel that sense of oneness per se with the company. Like that's how the chain goes, right? So just to kind of use this analogy, so the more communication bottlenecks you clear in life, the better it usually gets. So to use the analogy of a blocked pipe, if we keep on ignoring it, something that is usually a very small problem, if not solved, leads to busting up the entire water system. Then this incurs heavy costs and a lot of time and resources are kind of wasted. So usually in life, if we're not solving our minor problems daily on a day-to-day basis, they accumulate into something very big later on. You might choose the wrong partner to marry in life, your self-esteem might be in tatters, or let's say you might face an existential crisis with very little time left in life. If we just proactive in seeing problems and maybe just listening to them, even if it hurts our feelings in the short term, it can help us a lot. Consider your life like a company. You might want to do the things that are good for you in the long term. So lately I did this course by Dr. Jordan Peterson. It's called the Future Authoring Program. The idea here is to kind of write a vision for your future, something that you would want to aim for, and then also write a vision of something which you would want to completely avoid. Let's say a hell which you want to completely avoid in the future, and a heaven, your ideal future, which you want to aim for. So the anxiety of something that you want to kind of avoid pushes you towards that future which you want to build. It's like having that anxiety push you towards that heaven side of your future. So we often let our creative selves die in this world because of a lot of outside learnings. Some idiot implanted in us a thought in our early childhood when we were impressionable that it is not possible, because their reality was not so, and we believed it with our hearts. We often get agitated if someone attacks certain beliefs. Well, to be honest, they're not even ours in the first place. I feel it's your ego that gets offended. We sometimes attack that thing which is helping us to, let's say, live a different life and maybe a more joyful one, because we have accepted that identity, that thought that we accepted as an impressionable kid, and when we want to kind of defend it at all costs, we do everything in our power to kind of protect that identity, this fake sense of identity. So usually I think it's your ego, because it cannot live without an identity. Parting ways with that identity is something very dreadful, like for a lot of people. So lately I read something which says that one should kind of have three level activities in life to kind of fill our days with. One is something that fills your mind. It can be educating yourself to become better, implanting different ideas, to help you think differently about yourself, and maybe also certain resources which help you to spur to action. All this kind of leads to an intrinsic motivation, something that is kind of internal in its nature. So one activity, the second activity would be to empty your mind, which helps you become more clearer in your approach. So it could be the art of meditating, the art of writing. So what usually happens is that we often have a lot of ideas in our brain, but the problem is we don't see them clearly with our eyes. The way to see them clearly is to kind of write them down on a piece of paper with your own hand, and then you can see it right there on the face. The third activity can be something that uses your mind. So, all those ideas which you have educated yourself with, the art of getting that idea out of your system, and the final activity can be something wherein you find a vessel to focus your efforts on. Could be in the form of, let's say, building or refining a skill, or in common terms, it could be building a business or building that ideal future. So, all this is only possible when you're willing to be straight with your own self, 100% radical honesty with your own being. Jordan Peterson says, and I quote, like, nothing better can come out if you are friends with the truth or you base yourself on the truth, end quote. It helps you in long ways to live a meaningful life. Often, meaningful is like not some extraordinary efforts in life, it's the act of living an ordinary life with full involvement. So, there is a poem which I stumbled upon lately titled Do Not Ask Your Children to Strive by William Martin. So, I'll also link it, but I just wanted to read it out to you. So, it says that do not ask your children to strive for extraordinary lives. Such striving may be admirable, but it is the way of foolishness. Help them instead to find the wonder and the marvel of an ordinary life. Show them the joy of tasting tomatoes, apples, and pears. Show them how to cry when pets and people die. Show them the infinite pleasure in the touch of a hand. And make the ordinary come alive for them. The extraordinary will take care of itself. So, in the end, I also feel that all of us do have that creative child within. I think it's our responsibility towards our own self, and maybe just treating our own child from the lens of a parent, that it's okay to kind of make mistakes and let that creative child blossom. So, I think based on my current understanding uh, of life specifically, it seems to revolve around the joy of living a well meaningful life. To help you get into action, consider subscribing my newsletter. I try to distill some of the most coolest and practical ideas which can help you execute this like one step at a time, with a lot of resources, lot of hacks, and those kind of things. But yeah, this is a small video I wanted to do. Let me know what you feel about it. And this is Debashish Pindra from Debukidastak signing off. Cheers.